this is Dan Ablin from AJ Digital Studios and 3dgarage.com, and this is our Lightwave 11 signature courseware. Let's go ahead and just open up Lightwave Layout. You can see that I'm working on a Mac with the most current operating system, and if you're working on a PC, your interface is going to look pretty much the same as mine. You can notice too, if you're a previous Lightwave user, that the interface hasn't changed significantly. However, there's quite a few new tools in here, which is what we're going to cover in this course, using some simple projects to really understand what they can do. Let's jump into Modeler real quick. We're going to start there. Now, in Modeler in version 10, you can see up here we're running 11.0, but in version 10, you had 10 tabs. Now we have 12. Well, what's the difference? Well, there's a couple of new modeling features in here, which I'm going to point out as we get into the course. But I just want to point out in this section just what the new tabs are. The first one you're going to see is the Layers tab. And essentially, this is a nice section of tools that help us work with multiple layers. Typically, I would press F7 to get my Layers panel, and I would open this up. It's kind of like this, and we can work through our layers. Now we're going to cover all these in just a minute and go through all the basics, but what we're going to be able to do now in Lightwave 11 is in our layers panel we can have layer settings, so we can change the layer name. We can come in and delete, invert, swap layers very easily. We can shift up or down. And of course we can change pivots and center pivots and things like that very easily for a number of our items. So for instance, if we had a robot and we had the base of the robot and then we had two arms and then we had two legs, we can come in here very easily and parent and set up our hierarchies so that when we get to layout, to animate, everything's going to work properly and be in the right place. So this layers panel is going to help us quite a bit, so we're going to work with those. The next thing, which is a really big deal for Lightwave 11, is this input output, the I/O tab. And basically that is a way where we can import EPS files. We have a vertex loader. We can also go out to ZBrush. This is the new Go Z button right here. Now we have no models going right now, so nothing to really export. We can also export OBJs, Filmbox, Collada, EPS, and 3ds files. And curves to motion. This is always one that's kind of been hidden away, and now it's very easy for us to get right to it and create a motion file that we can use for things like camera positions and animating a camera. So I'll show you how to do that. But one of the features I like a lot is the Collada, and what's great about Collada is that this works pretty well across all platforms. Another neat trick I'm going to show you about Collada is that you can preview it on a Mac instantly. So I'll explain that once we build one of these models. Let's jump back into layout real quick. And what we're going to do throughout the course is work on a project. We're going to do some modeling, we're going to do some animation, and then we're going to do some lighting, some texturing, and rendering. This course is going to be a little bit heavier in terms of animation and layout and texturing, but we will get some modeling in there as well. One of the new features that is really great is the Effects Tools tab here in Lightwave Layout, and you can see that over on the left side we've got bullet dynamics, so we can create soft bodies and hard bodies and do all these kind of fun things and really put this to use for creating some realistic animations. You can also see that we've got input output in here as well, also the Go Z, but the import's a little bit different where we can import motion capture data. We can also export out a motion data multi-baker, a Filmbox export, Collada as well. So very useful and very workable with other applications and other programs. So let's go ahead and get started, and we will jump to the next video where we'll get going with some of the basics in Lightwave Modeler.